newly added announcement is the following that's up on Google Classroom. I did go ahead and give you guys a few links. I'll talk through those in 1 second, but let's talk about just logistics in general. Up here, do you guys see a period 6 little boop, boop, boop place for turning in bonus? Because what's due today by 4 o'clock? Bonus practice exams, bonus FRQ collections, bonus other mock AP corrections, etc., etc. Bonus practice exams are due by 4 o'clock today. Why? Because I don't want you at midnight or 1 a.m. tonight, like trying to bust out a practice exam. Frankly, that's stupid. So instead, let me tell you what's smart. How's that sound? Now, just a few of you are like, well, there are some people absent. Well, maybe not in your class. Colby, I guess, is. And then there were 2 or 3 people absent in period 1, and then AP Bio was totally gone from CalcBC. There are technically kids that will be turning in bonus to me after the AP, so Wednesday. Could there be a possibility that you turn in bonus to me after that I'll still take? Probably, yeah. Probably, yeah. But I would still say my strongest advice is to have it turned into me and out of your life, bonus practice exams, etc., by 4 o'clock today. So that tonight you can be much more deliberate in how you're studying. So let me advise what I think would be smart. But pause. While we're talking about bonus, I'm saying bonus practice exams because is there another place that you could be getting bonus? The evens on LTF, is that due by 4 o'clock? No, it's really just due by today. The evens on LTFs, remember, if you submit the evens separately from the odds in the sense of you had it turned in on time and then you went back in and resubmitted, because that's how to turn in the bonus, just put a comment on there and be like, resubmitted for bonus or resubmitted with evens. And I think a lot of you guys have been doing that, but maybe just a few of you didn't catch that. So LTF bonuses, the evens, submit them online. They don't come to me. Just the bonus, practice exams, FRQ collections. Okay. What if you're like, I only did 3/4 of the mock AP. I did part A, part B, and then only some of the FRQs. Turn them in. Turn them in and get credit. Or if you're like, wait, I might finish a few more FRQs tonight. Okay. Then maybe hold on to it. Give it to me on Wednesday. But still, what do I think is smart tonight? Well, let's come to our announcement. So, I do have a few different things in here. There is, let's work backwards. Things I wish I would have told them. I think I've told you guys all of them, but it might be nice to kind of just read through. It's given out by College Board. It's actually something that they found from one of their AP teachers they thought was good. Different things like rounding to 3 decimal places, or if you're afraid that your part A is wrong, still keep using it to finish the problem, because even though you lose points in A, you might not in B and C, and if you might get points in B and C even based on that wrong answer. I don't know, it goes through a few other ones, but it can be a kind of nice little list just to go through and make sure that you're okay. As far as just little tips and tricks, there is a tips and tricks slideshow that one teacher has put together that is pretty useful. Study your formulas. I mean, you guys should study your forevers, right? Know the 4 functions required. Okay, we've done that, and I'm going to go over the calculator one more time in just a second. Study practice tests. I mean, you can go back over your corrections. I technically have your mock APs in a nice big pile, but I thought your 27 essentials would be more useful to study as far as having back. But you guys could pick up your mock AP and study that. Talking about justification in words and being careful. It says something about somewhere in here, pronouns. Don't just use it. Don't just sit there and go to sleep if you finish. Okay, there's good stuff. There's good stuff. And it gets a little more specific as you go on, but let me go back just a little bit. I also did a link to Khan, not because there have been years where he actually has done like a live study session right before or 2 days before the actual AP. He actually didn't this time. But what is kind of nifty as far as you guys and some of you maybe wanting to do some practice tonight, even though I'm recommending you not do tons, what I am recommending, and I think it's in the announcement as well, is that you guys don't, if you need to practice, that you don't practice anything that does not have solutions. Because the last thing I or you need tonight is to get stuck on a particular problem, a particular FRQ point, and not be able to get the answer, right? Because then you're going to be hyperfixating on that, and that's all you're going to be able to think about as you go into the AP. So I'm not In years past, I've said, like, zoom out, make sure you have the big picture. To some extent, yes, but some of you just need to know your forever card. So maybe zoom in on the unit circle and zoom in on your derivative and integration rules. And okay. So I'm not going to say necessarily zoom out. Some of you do need to zoom in and be like, ooh, I'm really bad at slope fields or differential equations or motion-y things. But I just want to make sure that you're practicing, here it is, practicing problems that have solutions. Remember, the more practice exams, some of those solutions are worked out. But don't go killing yourself with mounds and mounds of practice problems tonight. Be deliberate. Be deliberate. And one of those ways of being deliberate is this link to Khan. Because he has, and now it's going to reload, at the very end, he has worked out solutions to a few different years of FRQs. So if you do go to here, 2017, 2 years ago, you can find, it's only one particular problem there, but then he has, if you guys, he has 3. But then 2015, I think he did all of them, as in 1 through 6. And then 2011, he did all of them 1 through 6. I'm saying if you want to get in a little bit more practice, maybe be specific as far as going to 2015 or 2011 and practicing with those FRQs, because then you have someone who not only has done them, but would also explain it similar to your BC Kid videos. Does that make sense? Just something, if you do want some practice, be specific. Why not 2015? Why not 2011? But some of you are like, no, I want specific, tons of practice on. That's your choice. My advice for tonight is by 9, 9:30, 10, at the latest, maybe 10:30 for some of you, because you're like, I just never live on sleep. Weirdos. Have a nicely balanced meal. Be hydrating tonight and in the morning. Don't just totally like sugar load, caffeine load tonight, because then you're going to be like all blah in the morning. Make sure you get rest tonight, even though I am not saying don't look at math at all. I think that's pretty foolish. You should look at math some tonight. But do not, once again, do not go looking for questions, problems where you don't have an answer that you can refer to. Please don't hyperfixate on one specific thing, because the general broad understanding is what's most important. In the morning, I should be in the gym by 7:15 at the latest with the whole spread of goodness, breakfast extraordinaire. So you guys can come, get some coffee, but pause. Are there a lot of kids that are coming tomorrow? Yes. More than the mock AP? Yes. Because at the mock AP, we only had a fraction of people. Most of the AB and only like 5 of the BC. So there will be about 15 more kids tomorrow than was at the Saturday mock. AKA, share the food. My little piggies that come and pile their whole plate. I am getting 2 big old boxes of donut holes instead of 1, because it was gone within like 30 seconds of me putting them out. Not really, but almost. No, there were like 2 lone donut holes when the test started. But anyway, I'm getting 2 big old boxes of donut holes. And then I'm getting, for your break, things like granola bars and cuties and, I don't know, probably strawberries, whatever else is at Costco. Water bottles, all that sort of thing. But when you, Trail, make sure and get another one. I still have that big old thing of pretzels I'll put out. But don't come and load up your plate and then chow down right before, because what are you going to get halfway through the test? Okay, come and get a little bit. Come and get a little bit. I have nuts for protein, the egg bakes are for protein, etc. I'm going to have one with bacon, one with the green chilies, just for my non-bacon inclined people. Share. Okay? Am I saying starve yourselves and then come and just be like, I can eat all the food? No. Eat a little bit of breakfast, come, eat a little bit of more. Get some coffee. Some of you, coffee doesn't work, so get something else. Should you just like down tons like a Red Bull right before the test? No, because you're still going to crash, like right in time for the FRQs. If you do bring something little by little, right? When you come in, please do not go in the gym. We're meeting in the gym. My advice would be to be here by 7:30, 7:40, so you can come in, get a little something, and then be ready to go for us to pray before you go to the tables. It's not like the mock where you get to choose your seat beforehand. This is the second week of APs. Mrs. Pratt will probably put your name document for those of you that have taken a previous AP in a specific spot, and that's where you have to go. When you do go to your specific spot, you're not supposed to have food and all that jazz over there, at least not in like a messy plate, napkin, fork, that sort of way. Maybe you could have your water bottle, I think, is allowed to be over there, and maybe like a cutie or something in case you're falling asleep. But otherwise, you're going to have to leave everything off to the side. If you do bring in any math stuff, I've had kids be like, ah, and like have like this binder, and you're not allowed to have it in the gym. So my nice little cart will be over on the side, and then before you go to sit down, before we pray, you're going to put it all in the cart, and I wheel it out after I pray. The only things that are allowed to stay are you, your brain, your calculator, and I think theoretically like a purse, cell phone off to the side. But you're not allowed to access any of those, be above reproach during the break, etc. Besides that, my goal for today is basically to talk about the calculator with like a little pretend FRQ-ish problem over to the side. And then if you guys have any specific things that you would want me to talk through on this last class before, whether it's specific practice exam or bonus or some multiple choice or FRQ part, it could be the 2018 if you guys have been peeking at those since I did post it on Google Classroom, I don't even remember when. Friday, Thursday, something like that. I'll take those questions. But otherwise, if you guys don't mind, let me pray first for you guys today and in the morning. Well, preparation for the morning. I'll pray again in the morning right before the test. But let me pray first, and then if you guys have any questions logistically, I'll answer them. Sound good? Jesus, thank you for today. Thank you for this period 6 calculus class and just the year that you've brought us through. There have been ups, there have been downs, but we are here and we have a big old test tomorrow. And in some ways, it seeks to measure what the kids understand. So Lord, I just pray that as they go through today, as they go through tonight, in the morning, that you will protect them, you will preserve them, if it be your will, that you'll keep them free from injury, harm, sickness, etc. I know period 1, some kiddos are feeling under the weather, so just pray in this period 6 as well, that you strengthen their immune system, you help them to be alive, alert in the morning, tonight, if it be your will. Lord, I just pray that they can take a deep breath and get the sleep that they need, that their nerves, their anxiety won't them up. But at the same time, Lord, I do pray for those wise choices that they can make, that they will make them as far as last minute studying or just things to look over, friends to talk to tonight, work with, or even just eating choices and things like that. But Lord, at the same time, tomorrow is just another day. This test is just another AP. I realize their worth, their value is so much higher, so much greater than this class and their performance in it this year, but also tomorrow. Pray that they will give their best and they can do their best, and it can be by your grace and for your glory. But I also pray that when the last FRQ part is attempted, or I should say when time runs out, because hopefully they go back and check their work, just pray that they can put their pencil down with pride in the work that they have done, or at least the way that they've finished, even though there might have been ups and downs along the way, and that they can rest and rely in your purpose and plan for their life that is so much bigger and so much greater than calculus. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so let's do my pretend problem, because you guys didn't have the 2018 printed off because you guys weren't in class on Friday, which is fine. You guys were all in the honors thingamabob. Did you guys get muffins? I didn't even ask. Oh, spoiled, rotten. Anyway.
The ice cream sandwiches taste like cardboard.
Spoiled, rotten. I have no response for that. Okay. Okay, calm down. Shh. Okay. Here's what I want you guys to ponder real quick, okay? I want you to ponder that you have been given, P.S., calculators out. Calculators out. I want to make sure you can use them before tomorrow. Are you in radian mode? Have you let some little pre-cal person borrow it, or have you been randomly doing physics problems that use degree? I want you to be thinking that you were given a rate of change of, give me a random letter.
7. Oh, wait.
B. That's awkward. Okay, you've been given the rate of change of B of x, which is actually, give me another random letter.
X.
Not x.
S.
S.
W.
S of x, which is equal to e to the 3x cosine squared of x plus 1. Okay, you've been given a formula for a rate of change of b of x, which is s of x, equals e to the 3x cosine squared of x plus 1. Okay? If I was to ask you the following, how would you use your calculator to do it? If I was to ask you for how fast b of x is changing at x equals 4. How would you use your calculator to do that? Plug in 4 to the f of x. How would you use your calculator to do that? Not that you should be explaining this to the AP guys in any way, shape, or form, but for you and your classmates to know.
So first, stow the function.
Stow the function, aka write them out, right? So e to the 3x. Here's a question. How do I put in cosine squared to my calculator?
Cosine and then cosine again.
Cosine of the whole shabam. You could do cosine and then cosine again, both of them of x plus 1, or you can do the whole cosine squared. Something silly, but that a lot of people get confused. Mel, this would be a good idea to pay attention to. So cosine squared, a lot of people, AP Calculus, AB and BC people, still forget how to do cosine or sine squared. Remember, you do the entire trig function squared, true? Now, how do I plug in something once I have it stowed? Table. I guess you could, as long as your table is in. Or ask instead of auto, I should say. You could really hope that you get a nice pretty picture. Or you could get the either with bars and then y bars, although hopefully no one has the old calculator where you have to go that way. Alpha trace, so much nicer. y1 of 4. It's as easy as that, right, guys? Now let's say that our units were something like, I don't know, inches per hour. What's growing in inches per hour? I have no idea, but that's okay. So we could say our 13095.9340. So inches per hour. But what if I was to ask something like, wait a minute, do you see my 3 decimal places? Rounded or truncated, if you're afraid that you would round it improperly, guess what? 39 would still be just as correct. Oh. But coming back, what if I was to do something like find s prime of 2 and explain the meaning in context of the problem, which you guys don't really have any clue what's going on, but it's okay. There might be something tomorrow that comes up and you're like, I have no clue what this means. Oh well, do the math. So find s prime and explain its meaning in context. Okay, how would you guys use the calculator to do this? 8, you could go to the math and you could go to number 8, which is n derive. Or if you really love your shortcuts, yeah, Kevin's saying it, alpha, window. You could also do n derive. Now what? I can do my y1 again, yeah? And such that x equals, well, whatever you need. Okay. So whether you're doing, I just plugged in 5. Whether you're doing math and then n derive, or whether you're doing alpha window, I can plug and chug. Now, this is okay. Question. What's its meaning in context of the problem? Careful, using acceleration doesn't always apply. It's how fast. You could say s of x, or you could say the rate of b of x. It depends on which one makes more sense to you, either s of x or rate of b of x, is increasing. Don't just say changing. Why can I say increasing? It's a positive. In, well, yeah, I can do in inches per hour, or inches per hour squared. You don't have to put both, but you do need to put one of them. When x equals 2. Does that make sense? Kevin?
Can you put the units in front of the number and then not have to include is increasing in?
Probably. Either way should be good. But they do tend to say include to make sure it's clear in whatever part you're explaining. Does that make sense? Okay, good. What if I was to do something like given given b of 5 is equal to 10, find b of negative 1. Integration. Why would I be integrating? Integration is net change. How would I set that up?
So you do like b of 5 equals the integral from negative 1 to 5 of the function dx plus.
Why am I doing 10 plus from 5 to negative 1? That's awkward. Why would I be doing from 5 to negative 1 and saying it's right?
They gave you the value.
I have to start exactly with whatever given value I possibly have. And between whatever given initial to get final. Now that would be the final answer in my calculator, but I should show that work down here. B of negative 1, final is equal to B of 5, initial plus the integral from 5 to negative 1. Don't you dare go putting like, oh, I'm using function integrate. They know how to use their calculator. They will not count it if you put it in calculator speak. Just do what you know how to do. Do I have to write this whole thing down here? No, you might write it wrong. Why not just put s of x? Okay, that's cool. And then equals. There would be no work to do because you should just throw it in your calculator and hit enter. And as it solves, what would the units be if I'm going back? Yeah. Did I do a great function because I have negative 728,000 of something? No, probably not, but that's okay. It'll make more sense tomorrow. 960 inches. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah. You can do, remember, with 3 decimal places, you are allowed to either truncate, so you can just cut off. Well, actually, you can just write all the decimals every single time and be like, haha, they're not going to take away my points. But if you do 3, you can do 959 or 960. Just don't you dare do 958 or 961. Does that make sense? Yeah. You can either cut it off or you can round it. Yeah.
If like the problem involves people, we still round.
Only round if they say to the nearest whole number. Otherwise, make it a fractional decimal. Yeah, only when they say nearest whole number. Okay. I just wanted to do a few, well, actually, can I do one more? You guys are still okay? Still tracking? Okay. Let me do one more. What if I was to do something like, ready? Find any, we'll make it D. Extrema of B of X within, actually I don't even know the within. Sorry, I don't have this memorized as far as where. Well, this would be a great problem, except this isn't a great problem. Can you guys change this to be cosine squared of x plus 1 and then minus 3 separately? Let's try that. You have to change it just a little bit. And we'll say within negative 10 to 10. Okay. It was going to be only positive, so then there would be no extrema and it'd be kind of boring. So I'm going to go ahead and just zoom in here. I'm going to throw in a parenthesis. I'm going to go way to the end of my cosine squared. I'm going to do minus 3. Remember, whenever they give you an interval for extrema, or whenever they give you an interval in general, can't I make my, my window reflect that as well? Right, guys? Why am I graphing the rate of change of b when they say to find extrema? Because it's the derivative, good, so I can say something to the effect of s is equal to b prime. And why would I be looking at the derivative when it says to find extrema? Yeah, I need to find critical numbers, right? Now, is this a great graph of my thingamabob? No, not too spectacular. Oh, I stink. That's not going to work either. I shouldn't have done 3. How about 1/2? There's no sign change. I'm really just trying to show you something on the calculator. Minus 0.5. How about now? Oh, there we go. That's better. Okay, do -1/2 instead of -3. Woo! Uh-oh, I have a lot. Maybe we should change our interval to be something like 0 to 4. I have too many. Okay, if I was to change my window to be something like 0 to 4, with a little -1/2 in there. Ooh, I see 1. I see 2. Ooh, okay, that actually turned out really well. Why am I going to go looking for, wait a minute, how do I find where these points are, guys? Second trace, and I can find the zeros, right? And then we could be scrolling all day and really confused, or I can say that's 1-ish. So what if I do like 1.1-ish? That's at least going to be on the left somewhere. And it is. And then maybe 1.5-ish. That'll be on the right. And I can find my 0. So I can say at x equals 1.356, there exists. And I'll get back to that in a second. And then I'm also going to go find the other one at x equals, find the 0. What would that be? 1, 2, 2.5-ish will be on the left. And then like 3.1-ish will be on the right. Okay, 2.927. There exists. Hey guys, if this is the graph of the derivative, question, what's going on right here at the first one, at 1.356? Is it a relative max or a relative min? Why is it a min? Below to above means negative derivative to positive derivative, right? Since b prime, which is s, changes, that's literally what I'd say, changes from negative to positive at that 0 of s sub x. I need the 0 part and I need the sign change part in order to justify. I need the 0 critical number and the sign change. There will be a relative min. So what's going to happen at this guy instead? There's going to be a relative max. Long story short, b prime, my derivative changes from positive to negative at that 0. Majority of what you're going to need to use your calculator for was just summarized in that. Doesn't mean it's gorgeous, doesn't mean it's perfect, doesn't mean like all of my whatever, I had to change my function like 3 times, but your AP problem is going to be perfect. Any questions on the calculator that you guys came up against at all this weekend when you were studying? Or on the ones that we just did? Yeah. You need somehow to talk about it being a critical number. So you could say at that critical number. You could do something like that. Just be careful of your terminology. Ooh, what are we not going to use tomorrow at all? It. Tell me what. Tell them what. I don't get to see it. Your answers to the FRQs. I shouldn't use it either. I shouldn't use the pronoun it either. Anyway, Hannah. Oh, you know how I just got the 2.9269? Let's pretend it's an intersection and I need to use it like as a bound. As long as it's still showing like 0 or intersect or whatever it is that you just found, as long as you just found it on the calculator, and if you move the cursor, just do it again, as long as it's there. Second mode, just quit and hit the stow button. And your calculator says, oh, I'm going to go look at whatever you just found because I think it's important. You can make it A, you can make it B, you can make it whatever you want. And then make it whatever letter you want because maybe you need an A and a B and a C. But if you do that, remember, just state it at the beginning, intersection at A equals B equals, and use A and B the rest of the time. Yeah. All right, we did the quick calculator review of all the different ways you might need to use your calculator, at least most of the important ones. So my question to you is there anything specific as you were practicing this weekend? We have about 7 minutes that you want me to look at. If you were just peeking at the 2018, we could go there. If you want any of the bonus practice exams, we could also go there.
I have a question on one of the multiple choice.
Yeah. Do you know what it's from?
Wednesday mock, number 86.
Okay. Wednesday mock. Oh, sorry, this is not the test. This is just the answer key. Does anybody else have anything else while I'm pulling stuff up and opening stuff that you want me to open up or look at? Not yet? Okay, you can be peeking at any bonus stuff or at the Google Classroom, the 2018, and be like, I hate these. Can you just go over? Here we go. Number 86, though, for Kevin's question. Ooh, it's geometric. I think we might have to do some area. Graph of f, which has a domain 0 to 7, shown in the figure above. Quarter circle, radius 3, segment. They're just being very precise so that there is no confusion or, ooh, I don't want that. There we go. Let b be a positive number such that the integral from 0 to b is equal to 0. What is the value of b? Okay. What I would do, first of all, integration, definite integration because of the bounds is area. So I would figure out, first of all, what my areas are. So I have 1/4, because it's a quarter circle. Pi times 3 squared is 9. That's how much that would be. Non-calculator, no calculator. You could figure out that as a decimal. Then you could also figure out this as well by doing 1/2 base, 1, 2, 3, 4 times height 4. So 1/2 times 16. That's 8 precisely. This in your calculator, Kevin, did you already figure that out? 2 point something times pi. It's 6 point something. No. Yeah, right?
7.06.
Thank you. Long story short, this is bigger than that. What does that tell me? One of these exists. Because if I have added 7 and I'm subtracting 8, there has to be a 0 somewhere in between here. So in order to find that, what you need to do is set 1/4 pi times 9 equal to the integral from 3 to what? 3 to b of, who is f of x? A line? I can make him all day long, right? Because I technically have the point 3, 0, and I have the point 7, -4. I can go ahead and do a slope between those points, but I can also do point slope form. And the reason why I'm doing because I need to somehow get an integral expression that I can work with by hand to get this b plugged into antiderivatives. Does that make sense? Because otherwise you're going to be looking for decimals all day long. So therefore I'm going to go ahead and plug in the easiest one, which would be y minus 0 and x minus 3, finding the slope between these 2 points. Oh, it does? I didn't even figure it out. Thank you. -1. Yeah, which would be the same thing as if you subtracted. Then I have y is equal to -x plus 3. So I can go ahead and throw in that -x plus 3 dx. And at this point, I would antiderive from 3 to b. Kevin, I would plug in the b minus, plug in the 3. I would move all the numbers to the other side, and I would find the intersection with my calculator, is how I would do it. So you would end up with 9/4 pi. Minus and negative is plus, and then minus. Plus. We'll do it that way. -9/2 plus 9 equals, then you'd have -b squared over 2 plus 3b. I would name this your y2. I would name that your y1. And I know that the intersection would need to happen somewhere between or in the window of 3 to 7. Does that make sense? Yeah. Mel? On this same one? Long story short, I want to maximize area. Whenever you guys see the word max, shouldn't you think critical numbers? But critical numbers, I need some sort of expression for area. Well, guys, hold on. We know rectangle is length times width, right? Length, isn't it going to be x minus 3 is the distance in between? And then width, isn't it going to be 1/2 x squared is how high minus 0? Oh, not, sorry, 1/x squared. So I would do x minus 3, how long, times 1 over x squared, how wide. If that's my a, then at this point, well, actually I could even be lazy and just throw that in, which would be 1 over x minus 3 over x squared, which would be x to the negative 1 minus 3x to the negative 2. Anyway, I'm just getting ready, Mel, because I'm going to do a prime. You said 18. Did I just cut it off? No, this is 18, right? I would just take the derivatives, set equal to 0 or dne. And then you're looking for sign chart when you set that up. And technically don't go beyond 0, where you're going to have a positive to negative. Boom. I'm going to keep playing with it if you want to see it, because you sometimes wait. The rest of you guys, you know what to do. You know what to do. Get sleep tonight, but before that, work a little bit on your weaknesses. Sound good? All right, bye guys. Well, I'll get a common denominator to make life better.
Bye, Misty.
Bye, Gavin. Bye, Lorenzo. See you guys in the morning. Six is the only critical number I even see. So I'm pretty sure if you plug in 5, it's going to be a positive. Plug in 7, it's going to be a negative. Yeah. Is that good? Yeah.
I was using this other one. I think